FUG is one of the most mysterious and yet one of the most important organizations in all of Tower of God. It's introduced in Season 2, but FUG has been a part of the Tower of God universe since Season 1. As we know, Han Sung-yu is sort of the main antagonist figure in Season 1, and he is one of the main members of FUG as far as we've seen. Now, FUG, despite its mystery, does have a lot of lore behind it, so today we're going to talk about the lore behind FUG, what makes FUG FUG, and all that stuff, the history of FUG, the future of FUG. Let's get into it. Before we start, if you want to subscribe for more Tower of God content, then hit that subscribe button and hit that like button if you want more videos just like this. So FUG's goals are clear. FUG wants to eliminate Jihad and the 10 family heads. That is their goal. We've known that from the beginning, and yet what's really interesting is we don't know their motive. So just to establish what exactly FUG is a crime organization and a secret crime syndicate in the tower its main goal is to eliminate Jihad and to eliminate the 10 family heads. That is their goal. They end up putting people into the title of Slayer so that these Slayers can take out these people. And that is their goal. They're sort of like a religious organization because they're all in agreement on this one thing. They're often compared to Walhaik Song, but Walhaik Song is more like a club who they're like, hey, let's take down Jihad, we're all friends, and FUG is like, this is our goal. Our life's goal is to kill Jihad and the family heads, and it's like, this is our purpose. So they're much more like a cult in that way. But their goals are the same. They want to take out Jihad and the 10 family heads. The interesting thing about FUG is that it operates in the shadows. So there's no headquarters like Walhaik Song has. They're all over the place. FUG is wherever its members are. Again, kind of that like religious feeling to it. There are like little places where Slayers are. So for example, Yama with the cage and that sort of thing, Karaka and his heart location and all that. And his castle even, but that's not the headquarters of FUG. Those are just locations that are owned/operated by members of FUG. But like I said before, Slayers. Their whole thing is about Slayers. So you've got Elders in FUG, Slayers in FUG, and then everybody else. So Slayers, they're trained and created basically to kill the 10 family heads and Jihad. And most of them have one target in mind. So for example, White's target as a Slayer is Arye Han, his father. He hates him, he wants to kill him, and so his goals line up with FUG, so it works really well. There are always 11 Slayers, so 11 seats for these Slayers, and yet not all of them are always active. So for example, there are currently 7 active Slayers and 4 empty seats, although even those active Slayers maybe are not as active as some of the others. We don't know exactly when FUG was created, but it's been around for a really long time. As we know, the whole Age of Genesis thing with talking about Doan and Cha's backstory with the Hidden Groves team. Kel Halam, an elder, was already, getting FUG into action and trying to take down Jihad. That was a really long time ago. So FUG has been around for thousands of years. Obviously not since the very, very beginning, but it's held power for a really long time. Now, the important thing about FUG is that they are unable to take down Jihad and the 10 family heads really without some special cases and special circumstances. Because of Jihad and the 10 family heads contracts for immortality. So Jihad and the 10 family heads are immortal. So regular rankers or whoever, they can't kill them. So that's why FUG is so obsessed with people like Bomb, who is an irregular and can break those boundaries and break those rules. As far as we know, Bomb, or Viole, is the very first person who is an irregular to join FUG. There's not been many irregulars in history, and so Bomb, as far as we know, is the first. So that's why he's so special and important to them. The main head honcho of FUG is Grace Mircea Luzlak. I could be butchering that pronunciation, but that's what I'm going with. Grace Mircea Luzlak. He is the #1 Slayer and has been around since the very beginning of FUG. Grace Mircea Luzlak. I'll probably make a whole video about this guy, so I won't go into too much detail, but he knew obviously Bomb's father, very, very closely, and he served under him. But eventually, after all the shenanigans that went down, he was one of either the founder or like one of the co-founders of FUG, but he is the head honcho. Like, he is the guy behind FUG. So we can assume that he is the founder, and he's the #1 Slayer. But other Slayers that we know of are Baylord Yama, who is number 7, White, who's number 10, and Karaka, who's number 11. Those are the ones that we know their numbers. Now, there's also 2 other Slayers that we know almost nothing about, and that is Immort we don't know much about this guy at all. And then Pifomamore Seto. And Pifomamore, who's got the longest name, is Madarako's god. So Slayers, even though FUG is one organization, there's many different sects of FUG. So, for example, Karaka has his own loyal followers who tried to ruin everything during the workshop battle. And Madarako serves Pifomamore Seto, and etc., and you can go on and on. Obviously, Yama and the Canine people that one's a little different, but it's still a similar sort of idea in that different Slayers of FUG have different loyalties. Almost like different branches of a religion, if you can think about it that way. Despite the organization's power and influence and the fact that it's feared all over the tower, they still, again, struggle with their ultimate goal because they can't take down Jihad and the 10 family heads without an irregular. So once again, Juviole Grace is sort of like their prized possession, and he is everything to them in a lot of ways. And he holds the key to getting rid of those contracts and breaking through that immortality. I'm still not sure, like, they still have other Slayers whose goal, like Karaka and White, whose goal is to take down these people who hold immortality contracts. So I can only assume that they're trying to constantly find ways to get around those contracts, and that way their Slayers can go in and take out their targets. So those are Slayers, but there's also Elders within FUG, and Elders are sort of like the commander-in-chiefs of FUG. You know, like, we don't know necessarily if Elders are above like, it's not really like that. It's just more that they're very powerful in their own right, but they sit back, they're the ones that hold the meetings, and they're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, this is the plan, you know. So Kel Halam and Sophia Tan, or Sophia Tan, are the only known Elders that we know of so far. So yeah, Elders are the ones who make those decisions, talk about which missions they're going to undertake, and apparently they're even, some of them are like more mysterious than the Slayers themselves. So Elders are more in the shadows, even though Slayers are also in the shadows. The Elders are the ones who are like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna hide away, tell them what they need to do, etc., etc. So that's a little bit about the organization, and of course, because of the structure of things, they can also have regulars who are loyal to them, sort of like Shia. FUG is a crazy, mysterious organization. I mean, I know this is called Tower of God lore FUG, but to be honest, we don't really know exactly the very, very beginnings of FUG. We can just get an idea based on people like Luzlek and his relationship with V, etc., etc. Now, the interesting thing about FUG is that we know their goal, but we don't exactly know their motive, and we can sort of guess at what that may be, but we really do not have a concrete answer. So we know they want to take on Jihad. 10 family heads. All right, we got that. But why do they want to take down those people? Do they think that they're tyrants? Does FUG want to take over themselves? Like, we don't exactly know their true motive. Now, obviously, the individual members have their own motives and reasons for joining FUG. Jin Sung Ha and his wife, or his wife, you know, or his... Was it his wife? I'm not even, let me look that up. Okay, it was his lover. I mean, same thing, whatever. You know, there are different reasons for people to be there. So White wants to take down his father, Karaka, who, you know, probably something to do with Jihad, right? And Jin Sung, like I mentioned. So everybody's there for different reasons, but FUG's motive as a whole probably ties to Grace Mershea Luzlek. This guy is the heart and the soul of FUG, the god of devils. This guy is the core of FUG. And I'm really curious to see more about this guy, because I feel like the more we know about Luzlek, the more we're gonna know about FUG. So stay tuned, I'm probably gonna make a video about Luzlek very soon as well. What's interesting is that FUG might stand for something, the 3 letters, right? We know for sure that they say it like FUG, sort of like how you might say NASA for NASA, but it doesn't mean that FUG can't stand for something. And SIU apparently has confirmed that the G does stand for Grace, but maybe not Grace Mershea Luzlek Grace. You know, maybe Arlen Grace. I don't know, right? Like, Grace could, it's apparently confirmed that it does stand for Grace. We don't know the other letters, and we don't know what that Grace might mean. Yeah, I'm looking at SIU's blog post here. He says, many of you have guessed on the meaning of FUG, and the G does indeed mean Grace. The FU, I'll reveal later, but it's nothing big. So some people have theorized, like, forgotten under Grace, or things like that. We don't know. We really don't know. But I'm curious, you know, even if it's nothing crazy, revealing, and wild, I'm still very curious what that FU might mean. FU, wow. Moving on. So yeah, that's most of the information that we have about FUG. Obviously, that's sort of a SparkNotes version. If you go to the wiki page or do your own research, I'm sure you'll find out other things. But yeah, FUG is an organization that's always been trying to take down these mighty people, but they've never succeeded so far because of the immortality contracts and because those people are just really freaking strong. So I'm curious, will Bomb be able to succeed for them? You know, right now Bomb has returned to FUG, he's working with FUG. FUG went from being sort of the bad guys to now kind of the good guys, at least in Season 3. So it's interesting. Is Bomb going to continue to work with FUG as Viole? And will their goals be reached through Bomb? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Thanks once again for watching, guys. If you want to talk about Tower of God even more, we have a Discord server. Link is in the description down below. We have all kinds of fun channels there. Sometimes I hop on and play some games and whatnot. It's a lot of fun, so join that if you'd like. Also, we have a Patreon, so if you want to support the channel, we upload every single day, then your support would mean the world, and that link is also down below. All right, guys, I'll see you in my next Tower of God lore video. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.